Happy Monday. If you're watching on a replay, let me know in the comments. Hashtag replay. Oh, let's get it set so I can see what's happening here. Hopefully in a way that makes sense to me where I can actually see comments. That'd be great. As you're coming on, tell me hi, tell me what you're working on. Tell me how your weekend went. Should have refilled my water bottle. Now it's empty. I'll talk a little bit about the fact that we just got back from Florida and there were a hiccup or two with the flights on the way back, but we made it and didn't have too many issues, so that's good. Just came back. Hi, Mama. Hi, Chris. All right. Why? This is okay. There are the comments and there are the not the comments. Why can't I see the comments? Let's try and switch something. I thought last time I did a live a couple weeks ago, I had this all figured out, and maybe I did, and maybe they changed something again. But let's see. There we go. Haha, got it. I figured it out. Okay, so let's see. Hi, Cindy, Brenda, Sherry, working on a scarf, Holly, working on magical thinking and making avalanche drop candy type thing. Interesting, Linda. Nicole working on the Gilliam sweater. Excellent. Jean, Julie, Patty, Sarah, Linda, working on entrelock mittens. Ooh, fun. Okay, cool. Now I can see comments. That makes me happy. Now I feel like people are on here and chatting with me. I like that. So I'm not alone. Okay. So welcome to Monday Motivation. Today is November 17th. I cannot believe that it's November. I can't believe it's almost Thanksgiving. I don't know. I swear it was just like, I don't know, September. Probably makes a little bit of difference that we were just in Florida. So the weather was nice. Wasn't the last couple days were hotter, which is what the way I like it down there. But the locals down there were actually saying they liked a couple of the cool days. But the one day we woke up, I got up on, I think it was that Monday morning. It's either that Sunday or Monday after we got there, and it was 45 degrees, I think. And we're talking like South Florida down by Fort Lauderdale. I don't like that. Now why I flew across the country was not to get weather like we have up here. Let's see. Shar. Hi. Yolanda is working on the Eli capelet. Excellent. Mary is working on wool mohair second sock. Awesome. Melissa working on the upstate of mind hat for a nephew. Awesome. Okay, so I got as far as the date and that's about it. So welcome to Monday Motivation. My name is Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shop located in Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SVRC Marketplace. Our hours here at the shop are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Marketplace hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 p.m. for most of the other vendors. Some of their hours change though. A couple of them are open a little bit early. Some of them close a little bit early. So just, we're here 10 to 7. Our hours very rarely change unless there's some major thing happening. So along those notes, as far as I know, the marketplace and we will be open next Wednesday before Thanksgiving from 10 to 7. And then Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, we will be open 10 to 7 as well. So closed on Thanksgiving, obviously, but otherwise business as usual around here. We will be doing our gift card promotion starting on Small Business Saturday. And that is where you'll get bonus fiber funds for every $50 in gift certificates that you buy. You don't have to buy five $50 gift certificates. You can buy one certificate for $150. Obviously, that math is not the same, but you can buy one certificate for as much as you want, and then for every $50 in increments, you'll get bonus fiber funds to spend in January. A lot of customers will do that just as either a gift to themselves or just knowing they're going to spend that money next year anyway. So why not get a little bit of bonus to spend in January with that? Before I forget, I did mention it on the last live at the very end when Melissa was reminding me, but Deb and Ashley are teaching a stranded colorwork cowl class. It's called the Flurries Cowl, and that will start in January. That'll be a Wednesday evening class. The class is listed on our website. The class fee just covers your 6 weeks of classes, and then materials will be separate. Deb and Ashley curated some great 2-color kit ideas. So those are available on there as well. Hi, Melissa. Another Melissa. Okay, so that's who we are and where we are. Like I said at the beginning, I just got back from Florida. I had some beach knitting time and some pool knitting time, and definitely some airport and airplane knitting time. Also, my doctor changed my meds, which means I'm wide awake at 5:30 in the morning most days. And so I had some morning knitting time as well. So I have some finished things to show off. What I'm wearing, I will talk about last because this is a new pattern just released by Malabrigo. And so we'll talk about that. But little things, I took some scrap yarns with me just to kind of play around with using up little bits of things that I had. So one of the little things I made was called the Nexus headband. And this is one of those patterns where it's written for multiple weights of yarn and written both as a headband and a finished beanie hat. So it hasn't been blocked yet. So it's rolling a little bit, but so here it is. This is the Nexus headband. I had a little bit left of 2 skeins of Malabrigo Noventa. So Noventa is a bulky single ply superwash yarn from Malabrigo. And I had just a little bits of these 2 colors left. So I made this cute little headband. So these are kind of like dip stitches when you get to it and you knit 2 rows below to pull up an extra loop. It's very well written, and she's got lots of good illustrations on how to do it. I did not end up doing as many repeats as she called for this weight of yarn, primarily because I didn't have enough of the black. I had a little bit extra of the red, but it's just a cute little earwormer headband. It's kind of been the theme of a lot of what I was doing. I just wanted to get some quick little accessories. So this is called the Nexus headband. I think it's Nexus headband and beanie brim. Oh, look at that. Melissa posted it. So again, I really like the patterns that are written for multiple weights of yarn. And this one is great if you've got just little bits of scrap left to do in Rios or in Rasta or like this in Noventa. So Noventa is a bulky, Rasta is a super bulky. I feel like this knits a little bit heavier than some others though. So it says size 13s to 17s. And I don't remember what size I used. I want to say I used 11s on this. I had to play around with it a little bit because I think my gauge was off. Did I check my gauge? No, because it's a little headband. And if it didn't work out, I just ripped it out and redid it, which is what I did. So that was one project I did. Another one is called the Tofino Toque. Toque is a Canadian word for hat. So here's my little Tofino Toque. I had I had a little bit more than a half a skein left of the Malabrigo Chunky, which is also a bulky yarn. This is used 11s according to my notes. Haha, I put notes in. So this one Malabrigo calls a bulky yarn also, but they say size 10 or 11 needles versus this where they say whatever, 13s to 17s. So yardage wise, the Malabrigo Chunky has 104 yards. The Noventa has 90 yards. So it is a little bit thicker. It's tough to tell when it's a single ply versus a plied yarn, but it is quite a bit loftier. But because I did not have a full skein, it's not a huge hat. It's just a little hat, but a fun texture, and it's just knits and pearls, nothing overly complicated, and just enough to keep my interest and to be a quick little project. I really liked kind of the way the decreases were done on top. I thought that was pretty fun. So that's the Tofino Toque. What else did I finish? Oh, so the cowl that I talked about that I knew I was going to be working on, especially on the airplane, was the fading lines cowl. So I talked about that on the last live, where it's written for a sport weight blossom cake from Wonderland Yarns. So it's their pattern, and it's designed specifically for one of these blossom cakes where you knit stripes and you're pulling from the inside and the outside of the ball. So when you do that, and you're starting with the lightest color and the darkest color, you have a high contrast. And as you're working toward meeting in the middle, there's less and less contrast. So that's why it's the fading lines cowl. If you look at it, the further up you go, the more faded the stripes are. Of course, I didn't pick a cake that looks like this, where it's just a fade from one color to another. I picked this limited edition water lily one. And so I had mentioned, if you remember, I had mentioned I might try to not even do those thin stripes, because this kind of looks like it's going to stripe on its own, where it goes light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. It didn't really do that as quickly as I wanted it to. So you may have seen pictures of me working on this on the beach, but I did get it done. So it's a different look than what the original pattern calls for. It still is kind of fading lines. The lines down here at the beginning are much more higher contrast, and they get lower contrast as you get toward the top. The ribbing at the top and the bottom are only done with one color, one strand. That's why it doesn't have lines there. But it's a very wide stripe. So I had started it and got maybe like this much done, and was texting Melissa, hi Aunt Jackie, was texting Melissa that the color wasn't changing quickly enough for kind of the look that I wanted. And so it's just 2 rows of one color, 2 rows of the other color. It's fun to kind of change it up, and I liked how you got to see the color change, but it's not overly complicated. So a great one skein project. This one hasn't been blocked yet either. I just wove the ends in while I was chatting with Melissa before we got started. But a really nice little cowl, be a quick project. We do have, I think I've got 2, I have at least 2. I might have 3 of this color in these cakes left, the water lily color. And these are $40 each. So $40 one skein. Great gift idea just to have on hand if you need a last minute gift for somebody or somebody you don't know very well. I've got one of the yarrow, which is the gray and yellow. And I think I've got another color too, but I'm not sure. So that's the fading lines cowl. Then the other thing I finished is what I'm wearing. And this is the vineyard cowl. So Malabrigo has a whole collection coming out over the next 2 months of accessories done in their Seis Cabos yarn, which is Seis Cabos means 6 strands or 6 cables. And so it is a light worsted, heavy DK weight, 100% merino wool, not superwash, 220 yards and 100 grams. And this one doesn't even have a tag on it. It takes, yes, Melissa's reminding us, if there's anything that I talk about that you want, just let us know, put it in the comments and we will set it aside. Just tell us what you want, how many, what color, and whether you're going to pick it up or have us send it to you. So this is the first in the collection of their new patterns in Seis Cabo. So it takes 2 skeins, really like 1.5 skeins, but it's a really great cowl. You knit it flat and then seam it together. Oh, I got fuzzies. Sorry, guys. And it's a simple 4-row repeat of just a little bit of lace. It's nothing complicated, but it's a really pretty look. I wanted to do something very solid. The photo in the Ravelry picture is a variegated, it's not this color, but it's a color similar to this, where there's a lot of light and dark and oranges and reds, where I wanted to do something solid so you could just see how pretty the stitches are on their own. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in it though. So I held, where is my little, hang on just 1 second. I took with me the last of these little cones that I had, and we've got more on order. But what I held with it was this little thread that has, oh, you can see the sparkle in that for sure. This very fine thread that has little sparkly, almost like holographic, tiny little holographic flowers. So we had this in stock and I had this idea that I wanted it to be kind of like a winter, when the sun shines on the snow in the winter and you get that kind of glistening look. That's kind of what I wanted for this. So you can see it in person in the shop, but you can't really see it on the camera as well. But it's just got like a little bit of shimmer to it. So I held those 2 strands together. Definitely not necessary. Just the strand of the Seis Cabos on its own would be stunning. But you know me, I like some sparkle. I like a little glitz and glam sometimes, if you didn't know that about me. So we've got the natural. In the last shipment, we got Paris Night, which would be beautiful. We've got this caramel. I did have quite a few votes that people said either the caramel or the cereza I should do. Of course, I just went rogue and went my own direction, but I'm very happy with it. Or the pearl. Pearl would be beautiful too. So we still have that pattern is available now, and we've got yarns available for it if it's something that you want to try to make for yourself. But it's a really easy pattern, and because it's just done as a long rectangle then seamed, it's nice and light and drapey. I can kind of gather it up and wear it like a cowl. I can kind of pull it down over one shoulder to have it be a little bit more of, not really a cape, but just to get a little bit more coverage if you wanted to cover your shoulders. If you wanted it to cover more, you could cast on more stitches. It would just need to be in multiples of 4. Simple enough to do. And you know, we're here, we could help you with deciding if you wanted to do that too, but we'll have the sample here if you want to try it on and kind of play around with it. Can you use that thread with any of those colors, or would you want to get a matching thread for the cereza or Paris Night? probably would want to get something that blends in a little bit more. I originally had looked at doing, I think I was thinking about doing the cereza with it. But I did, because all I had was the white. I felt like you would see that a little bit too much in the stitches and I wanted it to kind of disappear. So good question. When we get the order in of more of this, I'm hoping to get more colors. They were little bit limited when I was looking before we headed out on vacation though. So I have to look at that soon. Okay, so that's everything I finished. I have two things that I have three things that I'm sort of working on, but my Stephen West Mystery Musicale, I am done with the knitting of the body of it. And right before we left to go on vacation, I started the bind off. What does it look like with the gray? I bet you could probably do it with the gray, Julie. Let me see. The gray is, I just threw it under the table, you guys. Come on. It's not so easy to drag across the floor. Ah. Um, you could use it with the gray. It blends in fairly well that you wouldn't see it. And I think that would be really pretty. You would still just get that little bit of shimmer in there. Totally doable. So we will have more of that, the sparkly stuff soon. I hope. Okay, so the mystery musicale. I'm trying to get this to make sure it doesn't fall off the needles. If only I had things to put on the end of my needles to make sure that things don't fall off. If only I sold things like that. So here is my beauty. It's almost done. I've got the 3 strips of brioche. And I got as far as like doing 4 stitches of my I-cord bind off and knew I was not going to take this with me to Florida because it was going to be too much to be hauling around. It's it's a lot of, it's a lot of shawl, you guys, but I love it. I love the colors. I'm so happy with the colors that I chose. Because even though it's 4 colors, it seems kind of two-tone to me because I've got the 2 shades of blue and the 2 shades of gray. I'm really, really happy with how it looks. So that will be hopefully done soon. It might take me a week to do the I-cord bind off on everything. But I wanted to talk a little bit about brioche because my last project that I'm working on is brioche, but done in a way that I've never done before. So I've done brioche quite a few times. And typically when you are knitting brioche, you kind of get the reverse on the back side. So like this last section, the front color is a light gray and the background color is this teal. So, and on the back side, it's kind of the reverse. You'll see the teal in the foreground and the light gray in the background. So this is typical of brioche where you get the squishy texture. If you stretch it out, you can kind of see the V's in the background and then these little strands of solid colors and the reverse. So all of that to say, this headband that I started on the plane is called Brioche Twist Headband. And I was looking specifically on Ravelry for a brioche twisted headband, like one with the little, where it's got the little twist in the top of it. Because I had scraps of these 2 colors of Rios left. So it's Gemini and Pines. And I thought they would look really cool together in brioche because they're such a high contrast. So I found this pattern called Brioche Twist Headband by Sisu. Knit Sisu, I think. There's sisu and there's sosu. I can't remember which one this is. When I started reading the instructions, at first the I thought they were written incorrectly. And then I realized, nope, it's just a technique that I've never done before. So this is done in a similar style as traditional brioche, where you have like a knit one, slip one yarn over, knit one, slip one yarn over, and then you go and do the same row with like a brioche purl, slip one yarn over, brioche purl, slip one yarn over, and you're knitting and purling sosu. Okay. So this one, both colors are knit on one side and purled on the other side. So whereas as I was showing you, like in a traditional brioche, like the pink would be in the foreground and the green would be in the foreground on the back side. This is not that way. So all of these stitches are knit on the front and purled on the back. And it gives you sort of a look like corrugated ribbing. So corrugated ribbing is when you're doing stranded color work and you're knitting with two colors. And a lot of times you'll see it on like the brim of a hat. And there's not a lot of stretch to it because you're essentially knitting, you knit one stitch with one color, knit one stitch with the other color. And when you go back and forth, actually, I have a shawl that has corrugated ribbing. Although this is knit one stitch, purl one stitch. But so down here, you're knitting one stitch with one color, knitting or purling one stitch with the other color. And because it's stranded and you're holding, like you're going every other stitch, there tends to not be a lot of stretch in there. But this is very stretchy because you're doing that like you're doing like a yarn over with it every time. So you get the stretch and the squishiness of a brioche, but you don't get the reversibility, I guess, of it. So I like it because it's something that I haven't done before. And that's exciting to me because I've knit a lot of things. And I like the fact that there are still things that I haven't done and that I don't know about. But I think even the back looks really cool. But I may do another one of these and just use this method, but do a traditional brioche where it's almost reversible. But so it's got this cute little twist in it, and that is done as an actual cable. So you get to a certain point and you put stitches in the front like you normally would with a cable. It is a little bit fussy because she keeps the edge stitches on the same edge. It's hard to, here, I can show you from the back. So this edge stitch stays the same and this edge stitch stays along the same edge. So it doesn't completely cross over. So it's kind of one of those like slip so many to the front and then put one on a removable marker and then knit some and then do the middle one. And then, but, you only do that once because it's just got this one twist right in the middle of it. But so I'm almost done with that. And it's going to be just this cute little, Chris said it kind of looked very Christmassy, like a peppermint. And then we decided it kind of looked more like watermelon colors too, with the pink and the green. But I think it's really fun, cute little thing. I haven't gotten as far as how I end it. If I just bind it off and then seam it, I imagine, because she didn't have you do anything fancy in terms of the cast on. So that one's almost done too. That was the airplane knitting project yesterday, airport and airplane knitting. But that'll be done in short manner too. So, those are all the knitting things that I've been working on. I did go to a yarn store when I was down in Florida. I went to, Sheep Thrills. They are one of the biggest yarn stores in the country, as far as I know. The place is just bustling. I think they have like 6 employees working all the time and they're going in every which direction and there's a lot going on down there. So it's only about 20 minutes from our condo, so I have to make a trip there whenever we're down there. How did the twist happen? It's a cable. It's a big cable. Um And so yeah, I scoped out some things, hopefully to be able to bring in some new yarns. I always like to see what they have for their custom colors, and they didn't have a whole lot this time. But they did have some cool cotton and cotton blends that I thought I might want to check out. So that might be a future thing for next summer. Let's see, what else do I have to talk about? Where's my list? Oh, I do have with the last shipment of Malabrigo that we got right before I left. I don't know if I talked about the kits. Did I talk about these that I had more of them? Okay. So I do still have a couple of those here in stock. Um, looks like we've got three of them on the table here. I We still have the trunk show from Just Be Fibers, and I was in contact with Kelly, the dyer of Just Be Fibers, about getting some really cool kits for the holidays that have coordinating project bags and stitch markers and little notions and stuff. So hopefully soon might be able to get my hands on those because those would be great gifts to tell your certain somebody to come get for you in addition to a gift certificate, because they can't just buy you a gift certificate. They should buy you something else fun too, because it's fun to unwrap things. Um, what else? I feel like I haven't been here in a while, and it's because I haven't been here in a while. So I know there are things that I need to talk about that I'm forgetting, but that that's going to be it for tonight. We talked last time before we left about the club colors, so we went through all of those. I know that there are a couple shipments that arrived while I was gone. One is just notions, but there is a giant bag of a custom color from Malabrigo for us in a new weight. So that'll be our Decada color, but not in Rios or Sock like we have now. It'll be something different. So keep an eye out for that, because when I get back and get settled this week, I will be busting into that and hopefully doing something fun with it. But yeah, that is all I've got for you guys tonight. So I'm glad to be back. We'll be back in our normal routine now. I don't think I'm going to be taking a Monday off anytime soon unless something happens. But I plan to be back on our schedule, and yeah, I might. Can you say you're jet lagged if you don't actually change like time zones and stuff? I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe I'm just tired from traveling. It could just be that. Are you going to do 12 days of Christmas? Um, Leslie, I'm not sure. I want to do something. I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do with that with the way um supplies are right now and getting things shipped to us. I definitely can't do the pre-orders like I've done in the past just because I can't trust when things are going to be in stock or not in stock. But that was supposed to be one of the things I focused on when I was in Florida, was to work on what I'm going to do for Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, holiday promotions, and I did not. So that's got to be on my list to think about this week. One of these years, you guys, I will get ahead of the game and be like 6 months ahead of where I need to be. But this year is not that year. I don't think next year will be either, but um maybe each year I'll get a little bit better with it. That's all I can hope for, right? So I am hoping to do something. I just don't know what that something is going to be yet. So um I hope everybody has a great evening and a great week, and come see us, hang out with us. We're here all week as usual. And Deb, I think Deb's got one more week of her Wednesday beginning knit class. And then Wednesdays for the rest of the year will, Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 will be drop-in help or just knitting if you need to come in, just like Monday nights are. So from 6:30 to 8:30, starting next Wednesday, you can pop in, it's $10, work on whatever project you're working on, get help, get ideas for quick knits for things. You saw a few tonight that would be great quick knit options. So yeah, otherwise come and see us. And if we don't see you sometime this week, then I will see you right back here again next Monday at